Hello everybody, we're going to do two videos here. The first one is going to be talking about kind of my philosophy for fighting and where that came from, what that's going to look like, and then we'll do another one that's about kind of how to do power work. So for the very first one, the idea is that I go with is that you see a lot of different fighters that when they're fighting, everything looks very, very quick. There's a lot of quick successions, and you generally hear people using the word combo. When people talk about combos, they're talking about chaining one shot into another shot into another shot. The problem is that oftentimes people who are using combos are thinking about it in the sense of 3 shots back to back, or 2 shots back, or 4 shots, where they're thinking, I'm going to throw this, then I'm going to throw this, and that's going to open them up for this. And the problem with that, first off, is that if any part of that combo is interrupted, you're so set on what the next shot is going to be, you have to completely reset. The other part is in the mechanics. A lot of people will throw a combo by throwing out here and then rotating while they're out here with their arm fully extended into the next shot. And there are people that teach this. There are really famous Dukes that teach this. Duke Dietrich does this in particular. I'm not a particular fan of it because it can cause injuries if you aren't properly limber for it. Dietrich can do amazing things with his body, and so his ligaments don't suffer as much, but most people don't have the fluidity to be able to make these shots and not cause damage. So instead, I have a technique that I learned from one of the other top Dukes in the West, Duke Sean Kirkpatrick. He has a YouTube video where he expands on all the things that I'm going to talk about here as well, who taught it to Duke Uther, who's one of the top fighters in our kingdom in Glenavon, who taught it to me. And the idea is to simplify fighting to the absolute most basic elements and throw one shot at a time every fight. So, what that's going to look like is there are only 4 primary shots. 4 ways that you throw a shot. Each shot has a location, which is how high, whether it's high, medium, or low, head, body, leg. And then it has a rotation, which is moving your hand and twisting over your wrist, called a wrap oftentimes. But otherwise, it's 4 shots. Those shots are going to be, I'm trying to think how best to show this, are going to be a flat snap on side, so on your sword side, which looks like this, right? It's going to be an offside, which looks like this. A hammer, straight down, again, straight down, and a stab. Stab, you get the idea, right? Each one of these can be placed in different areas. So if you're throwing a flat snap, or a high, or medium, or low, it's the same shot each time, you're just throwing it in a different location. When you're turning it into a wrap, all you're doing, like I said, is turning your wrist over after you've thrown the shot. So you throw, and it gets about here, and it's going to turn. You can either let it keep going, or you can turn it into a wrap. So a wrap for flat snap looks like this. A wrap for offside looks like this. A wrap for hammer is weird and very, very situational, but it looks like this. It's the back of the blade. And then a wrap with a stab looks like this. It's just an overhead stab. All you're doing is turning it over and stabbing down, right? So everything is a combination of these core mechanics and where you place them. So to go from just a standard flat snap like this to a flat snap that's deceptive, that's fast, that's maybe a little different, you might do this, just coming sideways offline, for example, right? Same shot, but how you move, where you place it, and where you put the shot on their body completely changes how it hits the opponent, even though at its core, it's the same mechanic as a regular flat snap. The idea is that you're not comboing these attacks together. Instead, you are throwing one, and then you are resetting to your position of attack before throwing another. So if I was to do a standard combo where you throw and have everything out here, it would look like this. You would throw, and then you would throw like this. The problem is, if you miss, you're gonna screw your wrist up. As opposed to throwing, resetting, and throwing. So full speed, this is the combo. Full speed, resetting, it's this. It can be just as fast, but it will always have more power because you're bringing it back into your power band. The idea behind that is that when you throw a punch, right, you're not going to throw a punch with your arm half extended. You're not going to be able to really get your back much into it. You can, sure, there's things where there's short punches, but it's not the same as being able to fully bring your arm back and throw a punch. So by always resetting, you are always, losing our felt. By always resetting, you are always getting maximum speed, maximum technique, and maximum power out of your shots. And you can make it just as fast as any combo out there, with practice and with time. So the general philosophy again is, no matter what you're doing, you're always gonna throw, reset, and throw. You're gonna throw those 4 shots. Each of those shots has a wrap combination, and otherwise it's just where you place it. Everything else is a combination of your shield work and your footwork, and that's all you need to worry about. When you are fighting, you think, I'm gonna kill that. I'm gonna go for a headshot because it's open. You throw, if they cover, your next thought should be, I'm gonna throw at the leg. The leg's open, so it resets, throw at leg. And you're just throwing these shots as your brain is calculating that something is open, and you're less likely to mess up your body, you're more likely to have power, you're more likely to be able to really throw at shots that are in the places that you want to go. So that's the general philosophy of fighting, is one thing at a time, and understanding that the core mechanic of the game is not as scary, not as complicated as it seems.